Hey there, welcome back to another review, this time of the 2015 mega hit, the film to reach $1 billion the fastest, Jurassic World, which I like to call Jurassic Hurled, because it's so bad it'll make you want to hurl. But that's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people love this movie, and I'm pretty much in the minority here, but as you can see by my body language, as you can see by the way I'm carrying myself right now, or the way my tone of voice is, I'm not a fan of this movie. And, you'll find out why if you stick around for the rest of the review. Once again, fine with other people enjoying this movie. I have no problem with that. A lot of people love it. That's cool. I'm not one of them. Jurassic World is a 2015 film. It's written by Rick Jaffa, Amanda Silver, Derek Connolly, and Colin Trevmorrow. So it's written by not 3 writers, but 4. 4 writers. 4. And 4 writers. And if you we'll talk about this fucking screenplay more later. But 4 writers. That's just a baffling me, and excuse the Skype noise. It's one of my friends talking to me. It's like, yeah, I know, Matt. It's bad. I know it is. It's ridiculous. 4 writers to write this shit. Took 4 writers to write this screenplay. Anyway, it also features cinematography by John Schwartzman. It's edited by Kevin Sitt. It features a score by Michael Giacchino, and it's directed by Colin Trevmorrow. It stars Chris Pratt as Owen Grady, Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire Deering, Nick Robinson as Zach Mitchell, Ty Simpkins as Gray Mitchell, Vincent D'Onofrio as Vic Hoskins, Iffran Kahn as Simon Masrani, Omar Sy as Barry. He doesn't get a last name, it's just Barry. B.D. Wong as Dr. Henry Wu, the only returning cast member from the first movie. Judy Greer as Karen Mitchell, Andy Buckley as Scott Mitchell, and Jake Johnson as Laurie. And that's the cast and crew of Jurassic World. Jurassic World has become a fully functional tourist attraction and on Isla Nublar, just as John Hammond envisioned 22 years ago. Now the island is a functioning tourist attraction with a theme park, hotels, and a mall. But while the island is attracting more tourists than it can handle, corporate has noticed a sharp decline in attendance in recent years, because people are tired of seeing dinosaurs. Desperate to attract a new crowd, the InGen Corporation genetically breeds a new breed of dinosaur. However, the beast cannot be contained, as it wreaks havoc on the island, and the employees of Jurassic World do everything they can to keep disaster from happening. Pros? Pros for Jurassic World? There's a few of them. There's not very many, though. This is definitely a film for me, personally, where the cons definitely outweigh the pros. But I have to admit, I like Michael Giacchino's score for the most part. I like the little bits of John Williams' score that he cut into the film, that he put it into the movie, and a little bits of his own score that he put in there. It was actually a score for once. It was nice to actually hear a score instead of just a bunch of noise, or let's just rip off Hans Zimmer again. It was nice to hear an actual score. Chris Pratt, I really liked as Owen Grady. I thought his performance was good, but due to the piss poor screenplay, he didn't have jack shit to do, and fucking Jack left town. So he had nothing to do, and except ride with raptors for one scene, and that's it. So I really wish he had more to do, but I still like Chris Pratt. I think he did a good job, regardless. And it should have been his film, and it really wasn't even his own movie, even though he's on the fucking poster, and he's barely in the movie, but that's a whole other story. I'll get into that when I get into the cons. Forgive me, this movie just irritates the fuck out of me, and Vincent D'Onofrio plays the bad guy His performance is actually, I thought, was pretty good, but he just doesn't have anything but cliches to work with, which is another big problem. It goes to the screenplay, which was written by 4 different people who couldn't write one good fucking screenplay. But we'll get into that soon enough. Jake Johnson plays Laurie. He's a fun character. He had some of the movie's best lines. The whole scene where he works in the control room. So there's this one scene where Bryce Dallas Howard's talking to him about the sponsors and everything. It's like, we got so many sponsors in this park. We might as well have the dinosaurs sponsored by these big corporations. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Pepsi Soar and the Tostito Don. so that was kind of funny. I have to admit that made me chuckle a little bit. I wish he was in the film more. I really do. And B.D. Wong, I thought, did a good job too. He has the best monologue of the film, where he's explaining to Iffran Kahn that he just did his job. He's just doing his job. He's doing exactly what Iffran Kahn asked him to do. Create a dinosaur that's bigger, faster, and has bigger teeth. And he explains that, well, I'm doing what we've always done. Do you think these dinosaurs are real? No, they're genetic creations. So they come out of a test tube, that kind of thing. That's not the exact line of dialogue, but it's a really good monologue, and one example out of this pretty poor screenplay where there's actually some good writing. I just wish there was more of that in this movie instead of less. And then I'd have to admit, I did like the T-Rex and Raptor team up versus the Indominus Rex at the end of the movie. I mean, that was definitely fun to watch. That was the kind of stuff that, okay, all right, that's cool. But it kind of reminds me of Pacific Rim, another movie I didn't care for, where everything else other than the robot fights were pretty shitty. And that's how I felt with this movie. But yeah, I do like the T-Rex and the Raptor team up with the Indominus Rex at the end. I thought that was good. That definitely got me smiling, and it was fun to see. And a little bits of the pterodactyl attack were all right, but that's really about it for me personally. I can't think of anything else when it comes to pros for Jurassic World. Now we get into the shitter and the cons of Jurassic World, or as I like to call it, Jurassic Hurled. Start off with, we got the direction. Yeah, Colin Trevmorrow, who he hadn't really directed anything of this size and scope before, and it shows. I don't. Is it the worst directing ever? No, but it's nothing special. I don't feel there's no heart to it. It doesn't feel like it has the soul and the spirit that Spielberg gave to the first film. It doesn't feel like it has the energy that Joe Johnston gave to the third movie. It just feels very lifeless and limp and just plodding, and it's just there. There's really nothing spectacular about this direction. You could tell me that a guy from The Asylum directed this movie, and I would not be surprised. There's really nothing to this direction. It's not a pro, and it's kind. And I did listen on the cons because it doesn't stand out. It's just, and I think it's hard because majority of the movie is fucking CGI, so it's kind of hard to shoot CGI. You don't shoot CGI with a camera. You don't. That's the problem. You don't shoot CGI with a camera. CGI is added in post. So, yeah, it just very lackluster direction. That really doesn't add much to the film. The editing and the pacing is horrible. I think it's horrible to me personally. The editing by Sitz, it's just very choppy. It's just like, okay, it's not fluid. We cut from one scene, then we cut to the next, and then we cut to another. It doesn't have a flow. It just feels random. It's like cut and paste editing. There's no flow to it. And then you also have the pacing, which is dreadfully slow. It's so tedious and boring. It'll make you want to fall asleep. Make you want to take a nap. It's not exciting. It's not entertaining. I don't get it. The first hour of the movie is about 90% dialogue. And 90% of that and most of that dialogue should be cut out of the movie because it's just extraneous and completely useless and just padding. Vincent D'Onofrio's long ass speeches about how evil he is. We get it. He's a bad guy. We don't need this many speeches showing how evil the guy is. We really don't. All this fucking kid talk. Why? I don't need to hear that either. I don't need to hear the little kid talk about, can we go to this place? Can we go to that place? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? And the dinosaur does this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And even his brother was like that. Even his brother's like, shut up. But the older brother's a douchebag in this movie. But that's the one moment where I was like, you know what? I agree with you, actually. Shut up, please. Please shut up. But yeah, there's nothing to what dialogue? There's so much dialogue in the first half of the film that it just slows the movie down. It leadens it down. It gives it this leaden feeling to it. This is a movie I saw not once but twice, folks, recently. I saw it in IMAX, in 3D, with my parents, and even after I walked out of the theater, I thought it was just, meh, okay. Then I thought about it some more, and then I checked it out again, by myself, without my family around me, without a whole gallon of mellow yellow flowing through my veins, and it was torture. It was hell. It was hell to sit through, because I'm looking at my watch. I'm ready to fall asleep, because an hour in the movie, nothing has fucking happened, except fucking product placement for fucking Mercedes-Benz, a fucking tourism ad for Jurassic World, in the movie Jurassic World. We get it. I understand you're called Jurassic World. I don't need to see a tourism ad. I don't need to be given an advertisement or a tour of a park that doesn't exist. I mean, fucking, come on now. I want to do that, I'll go to Universal Studios, or I'll go to Disneyland. But no, this movie spends like a ridiculous amount of time showing you the park, and I get it. You're showing me the park, and there's a better way you could do that other than, I don't know, giving me a tour. I don't want a tour. I want to watch a movie. I don't want to watch a tour. But that's just me personally. A lot of people like this movie, and a lot of people like that stuff. That's cool. That's fine. I have no problem with that. I don't, though. That it really kills the pacing. You have the Indominus Rex doesn't even break out until what feels like forever into the movie. Chris Pratt doesn't even get introduced into the film until 18 minutes into the film. 18 minutes into the movie, that's when Chris Pratt is introduced. This is a character who's supposed to be your lead, and that's the first time he's introduced to you, is 18 minutes into the film. He's not the lead. He's not even the third wheel. He's the fourth wheel in this movie. And that sucks. I'll talk about that a little bit later and more in depth. But yeah, the pacing is just slow as a snail. And once it gets going, it's alright. But then it has anticlimactic shit like riding with the Raptors, but it leads to nothing. It leads to nowhere. So the pacing is really miserable, in my opinion. No amount of Mesosaurus attacks, no amount of T-Rex and Raptor fights versus an I-Rex is gonna save the pacing of this film for me personally. It's got really piss poor pacing. Too much fucking dialogue, not enough action, and when the action does happen, it's not exciting because you don't give a shit about who's getting eaten by these dinosaurs. Because all it is a bunch of faceless fucking cannon fodder. These fucking guys who work at the park. Oh hey, Hamada. Oh, I don't know who Hamada is. I know nothing about Hamada. Why should I give a shit what happens to Hamada? He got eaten, so did his whole entire team. Oh, whoop-de-fucking-do, I don't give a fuck. See, that's the problem. The film has no suspense and no thrills for me because I don't like any of the characters other than Chris Pratt. So yeah, that's why the pacing sucks. It's a big reason why. And a lot of this extraneous, useless dialogue could be edited out of the film. The cinematography, nothing special. It's just, hey, look at these pretty, beautiful CGI landscapes. Hey, let's take a look at, let's reshoot a scene from the first movie with the herd of Packy bears. Let's fucking reshoot that sequence. But this time they're in fucking little hamster balls. And that'll make a difference. Hey, let's show the park, and it looks absolutely unimpressive. It's like, oh yeah, it's a little dinky Tinker Toy pyramid and bridges and some trees. It's a bunch of trees. And it just wasn't much. Then you have the cast and the characters. Other than Chris Pratt, the cast and the characters in this suck dino dick. They're terrible. The two kids. Who thought it was great? Whose bright idea was this out of the 4 fucking writers who wrote this shit? 4. I'm gonna repeat it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 writers to write a script that is so mind-numbingly stupid at points, it boggles my mind. And it gets a pass because people say it's supposed to be stupid. You know what? Asylum movies are supposed to be stupid too. But I don't give them a pass because they're still stupid and they still suck. That's the thing. I'm sorry. Is it a parody? If it's not a parody, then it's just being stupid. And it's just being stupid because they chose to be stupid. It's like, we're stupid, we're dumb, yeah, we're clever, we're satire. There's no satire in this. Because when you hear a line, oh yeah, people are tired of dinosaurs now, and they think they look at dinosaurs like an elephant at the zoo. We need to create new assets and new dinosaurs, and we get celebrity endorsements and shit. And I'm like, okay. Because they're trying to dig at, audiences who want something new with Jurassic Park, a new Jurassic Park film. They want something bigger and something better. Alright. Problem is, though, people aren't tired of dinosaurs! As evidenced by this movie's record-breaking box office gross. People aren't tired of dinosaurs! So that was not clever, because this completely fucking... It makes no sense. Look how much fucking money this movie made. People aren't tired of fucking dinosaurs. So whatever your little bit of satire fell flat on its fucking face because people still like dinosaurs. But, that's just how I look at it. But anyway, yeah, my friend Matt pointed this out, and he's right. It's like Deep Blue Sea. It's like man's best friend. It's always other creature features. Throw it in a fucking blender and just give it to you. Hey, here's a remix of stuff you've already seen. There you go. That's our script. Took 4 writers. Would one of them watch Deep Blue Sea? Did another one sit down and watch Man's Best Friend? And a lot of it's just convenient, like the dinosaur has camouflage powers because it was combined with the fucking tree frog. Okay. Oh, the dinosaur. Oh, actually, the dinosaur has the ability to get rid of its heat signature because it combined with the cuttlefish, whatever. The cuttlefish is the camouflage, and the tree frog was, or the cuttlefish was the heat signature, so it was able to grow faster and bigger, and I'm like, it just sounds like you pulled this out of your ass, screenwriters. That's really what it sounds like to me. It sounds like you got writer's block. How am I gonna explain how this new dinosaur has camouflage and heat resistant abilities? Can cancel its heat signature. Have the geneticist guys say that we combined the DNA with cuttlefish, and that's what and that gave it the heat signature ability to cancel out its heat signature because it helped the dinosaur grow bigger. What about the camouflage? Well, we combined it with the tree frog to 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 make it so it can survive in a tropical environment. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Yeah, I thought this stupid shit with the other Jurassic Park 4 ideas with human dinosaur hybrids was dumb. I mean, and then you have how the Indominus Rex gets out in the first place. It just bugs me so much. Chris Pratt goes into the pen, sees that they can't find the heat signature, sees scratches all over the fucking wall. And why the park people don't know that this thing can cancel its heat signature out or anything, or camouflage, it'd be nice. Because if it can camouflage, why would you make it camouflage? Then nobody could see the fucking dinosaur. It's fucking stupid. People say Jurassic Park 3 is stupid. This is dumber. This is dumb. Dumber than dumb. I mean, come on. And this is as dumb as a fucking Sci-Fi Channel original movie. And so you have the shit with the Chris Pratt goes in there, sees the scratches, he assumes it escaped. Other people agree with him, and I'm like, why? This thing is 50 feet tall, isn't it? If it would do more than just scratch. If it got out, it would have tore the fucking wall down, and then it would already be out. People would know if it's out already, regardless if it canceled its signature or not. People around the park would be like, holy shit, there's a holy fucking dinosaur! There's a giant dinosaur running around! But, yeah, okay, alright. Okay. So, alright. Fine. But that's how the fucking Rex gets out, is because they assume it's escaped. Then some dumbass doesn't close the cage, and the dinosaur breaks out. That's some stupid ass shit. It took 4 writers to write. Which one of the 4 writers wrote that shit? Because you deserve a smack in the face for such stupidity. What the fuck? So dumb. And then, of course, the bright idea to make the movie centered around 2 annoying fucking kids. An older brother and a younger brother. An older brother who might as well be Justin fucking Bieber, and another older brother who's just a complete douchebag, who hits on women, and I guess he's supposed to be a way to get younger girls to enjoy the movie, but the screenplay sucks so much that it alienates that audience because he cheats on his girlfriend. He's flirting with other girls. He wants to get in bed with other girls while he's on vacation. Supposed to like this guy? Why are we supposed to like this guy? Why are we supposed to give a shit about this older brother played by Nick Robinson? Why? Why are we supposed to give a shit about this guy? Can you remind me? He's flat as a board. He can't fucking act. He's a douchebag. Ty Simpkins also is pretty annoying as well. So 2 annoying. We have an annoying kid and a douchebag older brother. Great. And that's who our leads are. It's not Chris Pratt, because he, just like Chevy Chase in Caddyshack 2, he's only there to show up for a cameo every now and then and elevate the movie above pure dog shit and then leave. And then leave you with these two fucking kids and the Ice Queen who can't act worth shit, Bryce Dallas Howard, who I like to call Bryce. Bryce Dallas. My acting is worse than Clint Howard. As I said it, I think she's a worse actress than Clint Howard because she is flat as a board as well, and you might as well call her Mrs. Plank. Yeah, remember Ed, Ed, and Eddie? You remember Plank? Well, she's Mrs. Plank. She's got all the charisma that the fucking Plank did in that show, and then some. And she's also a frigid bitch. Why should I care about this character? Why should I like her? Why should I not want her to get eaten by a dinosaur? Same with the kids. The older brother's the reason why the kids get lost and get in danger anyway. Because he's a fucking idiot. He's a rebel. And so it's all like, hey, yeah, our chaperone, she's over there. Let's bolt. Yeah, good one. You're a good influence for your younger brother. You really are. Then he's the reason why they get almost eaten by that Dominus Rex, because they're in the fucking hamster ball, and then the screen says park closed, you need to go turn around, and he's like, no, do you want to see some more dinosaurs? We should turn around. Well, I thought you wanted to get the full Jurassic Park experience, bro. I was like, but let's go off-road. Tell me why we are supposed to care or like or give a shit about this character? Why are we supposed to care about Zach and Gray Mitchell? And then you have a scene earlier where Gray is upset about his parents getting divorced, and then this fucking douchebag Zach's all like, well, it doesn't matter anyway. I don't care, because I'm gonna be gone 2 years anyway. And hey, you get like 2 birthdays. I mean, isn't that cool, man? I mean, come on. I mean, what? You crying? Are you crying? I'm like, can an Indominus Rex please show up outside the fucking window of this fucking train, bust its head through the window, and eat his fucking ass? Eat him! Eat him! Get his fucking black hole of charisma out of this goddamn movie! But no, he stays in the film along with his annoying little brother, and they have most of the screen time. They have more screen time than Chris Pratt, who's on the poster of the film, and they even have this stupid shit where the older brother, near the end of the movie, has a change of heart. Same Bryce Dallas Howard stops being an ice queen too, out of nowhere. Wonder why I think this screenplay sucks so much? And even people that like this movie who've given it good reviews, I've read some of these reviews, they even admit the screenplay sucks and the characters suck. But they're like, oh, it's still a great movie. How? How is a film great if it has a shitty screenplay and shitty characters? If you like it, to each their own, that's fine. I'm just asking a question. How can a movie be great to you if it has shitty characters and a shitty screenplay and a shitty story? That's not a great movie. It's a pretty awful film, usually, if it has those two elements that are not doing very well. But I just had to throw that out there. I don't believe that. Why would you give the entire movie a pass if you think the screenplay and the characters suck? No amount of dinosaurs or dino porn or CGI eye candy is going to make me forget about how shitty your story is and how lame your characters are. It's almost to the point now where I swear to God, you could just have a 2-hour-long movie in theaters now with a bunch of fucking shiny keys. All the different types of shiny keys being rattled around on the big screen. And people would be like, ooh, shiny keys! And they'd eat it up. And it'd make millions of dollars. It's like we are actually making the future of idiocracy come true right before our very eyes. But that's just my personal opinion. Yeah, I know the movie's dumb. Turn off your brain and enjoy it. I tried to, but my brain fell the fuck asleep. So, yeah. It's hard to enjoy the movie when its pacing is so miserable and you have no characters other than one character in Chris Pratt you like and give a shit about, and he doesn't get that much to do. So then that's not much of a positive either. So it's kind of hard to enjoy the film if you have all that shit going on. When the leads are pretty much one annoying little brother and a douchebag older brother and a fucking ice queen. Thank you. Wonderful. So enjoying. I love it. I eat it up like popcorn. I don't even like popcorn. So it's not even the best analogy. But get the point. Anyway, going back to the older brothers. Excuse me for the rambling stuff. I got shit to get off my chest. But you have the fucking older brother. You're supposed to forgive him for being a douchebag for 90% of the movie because he's talking to his brother and the brother's like, you leave me. It's like, no, bro. I'll never leave you, bro. Always be here for you, bro. That's not really what he says, but it might as well be. And they're like, oh, great. Yeah, still a douchebag. Sorry. You're still the reason why your brother got in any of this trouble is because of you. No other reason, because of you. That's it. You being a douchebag and being a fucking idiot. If I was his little brother, I'd be pissed. I'd be like, you're the fucking reason why I almost got eaten by a fucking 50-foot tall dinosaur. Yeah, you'll be here from me after you said you're leaving in 2 years and you really stop crying. You know what? Fuck you, bro. You're a fucking dumbass and you're an asshole. Leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to ever go on a trip with you because next time I probably will get eaten by a fucking dinosaur. Seriously. What? So, you have that. And Vincent D'Onofrio is a bad guy. It's some predictable bullshit. You have the whole thing where predictable cliche plot where, oh, Vincent D'Onofrio wants to get the dinosaurs to become weapons for the military. I'm like, oh, yeah, really? Again with that shit? Yeah, that hasn't been done a million times in another million other direct-to-video movies or in Aliens or all these other shit. Control the uncontrollable. Yeah, you can't do it. Oh yeah, of course. But yeah, then you have the raptor scene, rides with the raptors, and it leads to nowhere. He rides with the raptors, and then the fucking Indominus Rex, who's part raptor, just goes, and the raptor's like, and then they all right, oh, he's the new alpha male, and then they attack everybody. And the sequence is very forgettable and not much. Because these supposedly badass soldiers can't shoot where shit. Could shoot where shit anyway. There's a guy with a fucking minigun hanging out of a fucking helicopter chasing after a 50-foot tall fucking dinosaur, and he can't fucking hit it. He can't hit it. He doesn't hit it once. It's 50 foot tall. It's almost impossible to miss the fucking thing. He misses it. Helicopter with Iffran Kahn, who's another actor character I thought sucked. Look at me, I'm eccentric and weird. Oh, I can't even fly a helicopter very well. Ah! John Hammond entrusted his part to me. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? John Hammond never mentioned this guy before. Another thing, the writers just pull it out of their ass. I'm supposed to just accept it. And then, okay, if the character was any good, then maybe I'd be alright with that. But no, he's not. He's just an annoying, eccentric douchebag, old billionaire who fucking dies in a helicopter crash that looks fake as fuck. Great, cool. And then Bryce Dallas Howard, who Miss Versace. We're this fashionista over here. She wasn't great in Spider-Man 3. Yeah, her performance as Gwen Stacy was so amazing that it deserved her another role in a big blockbuster film. No, it didn't. Thank God her daddy's Ron Howard, because she wouldn't be getting much roles other than in porn. Her acting is porn star level bad. It really is. I've seen some porn stars act better than she does. No charisma and nothing to her, and her character sucks. She's a frigid ice queen throughout majority of the movie until the film decides she needs to not be an ice queen anymore. Decides that she's not on the rag anymore. It's not her time of the month anymore, so it's time for her to stop being so bitchy. Time for her to take the stick out of her fucking ass. But yeah, I mean, I wish Chris Pratt threw her off the fucking waterfall when she said, "No, you can't treat me like one of your animals. I'm not one of your animals, bitch." Please. But anyway, yeah, the characters suck. Shitty characters other than Chris Pratt. And really poor writing. And the sense of humor is not very good. Because there's not much of a sense of humor. It's just awkward crap. Like Bryce Dallas Howard talking to kids and be like, make sure to put your seatbelts on. There's no seatbelts. Well, hold hands. And they're like, yeah, it's so hilarious. It's so funny. I can't control my laughter. And then the constant callbacks to the first movie. Would you fucking stop? Hey, Jurassic World, stop jerking the first movie's dick! Stop grabbing it. Stop grabbing it. Stop giving it the longest and hardest and best fucking hand job you can. It's distracting. Don't the quote, Christian Bale from that set rant from Terminator Salvation. It's fucking distracting. It really is. It's fucking distracting to keep seeing these constant callbacks to the first movie. Jake Johnson bought a t-shirt with Jurassic Park on it. There's some shitty line of dialogue. Bryce Dallas Howard, that's insensitive. It was like, I don't get it. I bought it off eBay. It's like, oh, I like it, Hey, I think the first park was great. I'm like, yeah, the first park was great, just like the first movie. Yeah. Oh, hey, here's Mr. DNA. Oh, here's a hologram of the Dilophosaurus. Because we can't actually have a real Dilophosaurus. We gotta have a hologram. Hey, how about this? How about the kids find the old visitor center and they see the mural and they find the part of the banner of when dinosaurs roamed the earth on the ground, and then they find the goggles that Tim had in the first movie, and they find some old ass Jeeps that have been in there for 22 years and managed to jerry rig them to work again. I'm like, yeah, that's very realistic. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they all fucking got rusted out and shit because it's in a tropical environment and that shit ain't fucking starting no matter how much fucking teamwork you'd make to get the thing to work. But okay, the movie was fun and it actually was entertaining and I wasn't bored to tears for most of it. Then I could give shit like that a pass. But since it isn't, no. That's pretty much what I keep noticing is this kind of stupid shit. And it's just like, first movie. Remember the first movie? It's like this is pretty much what Jurassic World does when it comes to these constant homages and callbacks to the first film. Okay. Hey, 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 hey. You remember the first movie? You remember the first Jurassic Park? You remember the first Jurassic Park? Do you remember that movie? Do you remember the first Jurassic Park? Do you remember that movie? Do you remember Jurassic Park? Do you remember the first movie? Do you remember it? Do you remember it? And I'm like, yes! I fucking remember it! I just watched it before I saw this fucking movie, okay? You don't need to keep reminding me about Jurassic Park. It's not like people stopped watching the movie after it came out in 1993. People still love that movie. People still watch that movie. And 10 years from now, people will still like that movie more than this movie. So what were you trying to do? Do an advertisement for the first movie? You might as well have a fucking ad in the movie say, hey, make sure to buy the Jurassic Park trilogy on Blu-ray. Might as well done that shit while you're at it. I get it. I understand. But that's fucking annoying. They have to keep poking me in the eye saying, hey, first movie, first Jurassic Park. It's like you can't stand up on your own, so you got to prey on people's nostalgia and constantly make constant references to the first film to just make people feel nostalgic about the first movie. So then it makes them feel that your movie is like the first movie. But honestly, it isn't. It's nowhere near as good as the first film. So you know what? All you did is just make me want to watch the first movie and make me appreciate the first movie more because you just for all your fucking callbacks, you can't even fucking hold up on your own 2 feet. Got me so worked up. Got my eyes watering. Shit. But yeah. Constant callbacks to the first movie were fucking annoying. So was the product placement. I swear to God, I think this movie was sponsored by Mercedes-Benz and Samsung. The Samsung Innovation Center. Mercedes-Benz. Oh, there's another Mercedes-Benz. Oh, here's another Mercedes-Benz. And I get there's a lot of product placement in movies, but this was Man of Steel levels bad at points. It really was. It was another thing that was distracting and took me out of the film. And the visual effects. Pretty poor. A serious lack of practical effects that hurt the movie. Now, I will mention there were some, and I can't believe I forgot to mention this in the pros, but there was one scene with practical effects that was actually pretty well done, and that was with the Brontosaurus. I think it might not be a Brontosaurus, but either way, it was one of those dinosaurs. and it was practical effects, and we watched it die. So might as well be just watching the death of practical effects. Great. One shot of Indominus Rex's jaws, I think was practical. Maybe a couple shots of the raptors, but it was hard to tell. I think some of the practical effects were covered up by CGI. And Colin Trevmorrow, in an interview online, said he went and defended CGI. He defended visual effects. He's like, defended CGI. He's like, I think CGI gets a bad rap. I mean, we tried to use we tried to use both practical effects and CGI, and I'm like, and blend them together. I'm like, you didn't blend shit. All you did was put 99.9% of CGI and then a drop of practical effects into your mix. This is the first film in the Jurassic Park franchise to have almost entirely the entire film and dinosaurs and all this other stuff in CGI. And that's a shame, because Jurassic Park 3 has some really impressive visual effects, some really impressive practical makeup effects. And this just says, nope, all CGI. Which completely takes me out of the film, makes me feel like I'm watching a cutscene from a video game, or I might as well just be watching an entirely CGI animated movie. Can't get more real than real. And with this just overabundance and just absolute overkill of CGI, it's hard for me to get into the film because I know nothing about this is real. And I know, like, hey, dinosaurs aren't real. I know dinosaurs aren't alive. I know that. But there are some shots in the Jurassic Park from 1993, even shots from Lost World in 1997, even shots from Jurassic Park 3 in 2001 that look photorealistic. There's nothing in this that looks photorealistic because I'm like, that's a computer-generated image. CGI to this day, as advanced as it has gotten, has not overtaken practical effects. I meant to say practical effects, but I'm so focused on CGI, I fried my brain cells for a second there. Has not overtaken practical effects. I'm sorry. When you look at an effect from 1993, the T-Rex, that looks fucking real, and you look at the T-Rex here, CGI, there's a big difference. And the other Jurassic Park films, they made it a mission, they made it important to combine practical effects with CGI, to not have one replace the other. And in Jurassic World, CGI just replaces practical effects. And in some ways, I can get it. The Mesosaurus, that's too big to make a practical effect. But maybe you can make the jaw a practical effect, maybe, or something. A little bit of something may be practical. T-Rex, I know you can do practical, because there's been some fucking amazing looking T-Rex animatronics that have been used in the first 3 films that are nowhere to be found in this movie. The Indominus Rex, maybe you could, maybe not, I don't know. It's 50 feet tall, but the Spinosaurus, they did it for that. The Raptors, I know you can. I definitely know you can do that with the Raptors. But that's the thing. They just chose to do everything CGI, and it took away from the wonder. It took away from the realism. It took away from the awe factor that I got with the first 3 Jurassic Park films. Here's just like, oh, just computer generated image. You know what? If I want to see a CGI T-Rex, I'll watch Kung Fury. Yeah, I watched that movie. But yeah, that's just a bummer to me. The 4th Jurassic Park film, and it completely ignores what the previous films did in the franchise, and just replaces practical effects again. And the one shot that features it heavily, they just show a brontosaurus dying. Which is like, great. Now when Bryce Dallas Howard is crying for the loss of the dinosaur, I'm about ready to cry for the loss of practical effects. Because CGI was never invented to replace practical makeup effects. It was invented to enhance it. And sadly, it's replacing it. And it's not better. It isn't better. It isn't better yet. So why is it replacing it? Because Hollywood wants to do things cheaper and faster. And that CGI is cheaper and faster. And a lot of today's audiences are conditioned to the CGI, so they're gotten used to it. It is what it is. And I'll admit, good CGI looks great when it's done right. This wasn't very great CGI, in my opinion. And practical effects, when they're done right, look fantastic too. And both had their flaws. Bad practical effects look like bad practical effects. Bad CGI looks like bad CGI. They both ruin the illusion. But practical effects, because they're made with real materials. They're made with actual artists using their hands, not computer boards, not computer keys, not mouses. They're actually using their hands. They're physically creating something. They're physically touching it. They're physically molding it. They're creating molds. They're creating busts. They're creating maquettes. They're creating models. They're not creating 3D models. They're creating models with their hands. And there's that physical connection to it. The CGI still to this day does not have. Because yes, there are a lot of people who work in CGI, work on computer-generated imagery, and do stuff like that. Behind the computers are very talented individuals. Put a lot of passion into their work. But even the best CGI effect, for me personally, especially from a creature, a dinosaur, a monster, a werewolf, anything, does not look better than a well-executed, well-done practical effect. It still doesn't. It really doesn't. I've even had people who really like CGI, and I did an experiment one time, and I showed them side-by-side shots. I showed them side-by-side shots of practical versus CGI, and everyone I knew when I did this experiment in school, they picked the practical effects. That looks more realistic. That looks better. But it doesn't matter because studios want it cheaper and faster. And they get that with CGI. And I feel bad for the people who work on the visual effects because they get paid shit. So they put all these hours into these CGI effects to basically give Hollywood the lazy way out. And hey, I'll get you all these effects with the visual effects, and you don't have to do anything practical. You don't have to build real sets. You don't have to do anything. And we'll do all the work for you. But we get paid jack shit. And that's not right. So in that respect, I feel bad for them. I feel sorry for them because they put all this effort into stuff and they don't get paid anything, barely anything. Companies have gone out of business who worked on visual effects. So the people who did the Oscar-winning visual effects for Life of Pi, that company went out of business. They won the Oscar, but they were out of business. So yeah, it's cheaper, it's faster, but maybe it's not cheaper. Maybe it actually isn't that very much faster than practical effects. Maybe, I don't know what it is. Hollywood's just lazy. Studios are lazy, and they don't want to put the effort into practical effects anymore. They're all like, well, we can have this computer do it all for us. And I think that might be it. It's just laziness. But, hey, if you think the visual effects and the CGI in this are spectacular and jaw-dropping and amazing, cool. I have no problem with that. I just thought they were unimpressive. And the most impressive shot was of the dying Brontosaurus. And everything else was just, well, I've seen that before. I mean, if you gave an Asylum film a little bit more of a budget, they could probably create the same effect. But, yeah. I know, I went on for a long time. I had to get some stuff off my chest. But yeah, those are my cons. More like a ramble and rant part of this review on Jurassic World. As for my final verdict for Jurassic World, I thought this movie sucked. I thought it was a really terrible film. Honestly, at this point, I would say it's the worst film of the year for me. Yes, even worse than Poltergeist. Even worse than the Poltergeist remake, because that at least had more than one character in the film that I liked. I liked Sam Rockwell, I liked Rosemary DeWitt, and I liked Jared Harris. That movie also wasn't 2 hours. That movie had a little bit better pacing. Still not the best pacing in the world, but it still had a little bit better pacing. And I never thought I'd say that there's a movie that came out this year that's worse than Poltergeist. I felt that way about Jurassic World because I hated the characters so much other than Chris Pratt. He doesn't have much to do. He doesn't do jack shit of anything. He rides with the raptors to nowhere. He shoots maybe one pterodactyl. That's it. And then gets saved by the Ice Queen. That's all he fucking does. He doesn't have anything to do. So, yeah, he's good. I like his performance, but he doesn't do jack shit. Compared to Dr. Grant, who kicks a pterodactyl in the face in Jurassic Park 3, shoots a flare at the Spinosaurus, or even in the first Jurassic Park 3, Dr. Grant kicks a raptor in the face. I don't even have any of that. The film focuses more on these two annoying kids and Bryce Dallas Howard, the Ice Queen, who the most memorable thing about her is her tits. That's about it. But she didn't show them. She didn't flash the titties, so that didn't really make much of a difference anyway. There's some decent things. I liked a little bit with the T-Rex and the Raptor versus the Indominus Rex at the end, but the Mesosaurus coming out and grabbing it was a little bit overkill. The Mesosaurus already had its overkill moment where it ate the British nanny and ate the pterodactyl in one bite. To have it also eat the Indominus Rex was a little bit overkill. And to me personally, I think this franchise, it not only jumped the shark, but it jumped over the shark that jumped the shark and then ate the shark. Yeah, it jumped the shark, it jumped over the shark, and ate it. And this is every bit as loud and big and dumb as a Michael Bay Transformers movie, just without the fart jokes and without the, dogs humping and all that stupid shit. If you added that into this movie, it is a Michael Bay dinosaur flick. That's what it is. It's a Jurassic Park film directed by Michael Bay. This movie also, it feels so much like an Asylum film. If it was sponsored by Asylum, I would not be surprised. It's got the same stupid plot and the same stupid excuses for its stupid plot. It's supposed to be stupid. Well, you know what? It just changed the fact that it's still stupid. Now, maybe if you made it as a parody, maybe if it actually was supposed to be a spoof, but it really isn't. It's just a bland, boring, tired, lame, bad B movie with a $200 million budget or more than that. It's a big budget B movie that has none of the fun of some of these other B movies. I just watched Carnosaur recently, and I enjoyed that more than Jurassic World. It has a lot of problems, but hey, at least it knew it was a B movie and didn't try to be anything other than that. And hey, this movie's not trying to be groundbreaking. I know that. I understand that. But Jurassic World had a big budget. Carnosaur had no budget. So it did some cool things with it and that were actually pretty cool, which I'll talk about later. But Jurassic World had a huge budget, and all it gave you was a very generic, shitty, boring, lackluster sequel that didn't add anything new. That didn't give you anything honestly worthwhile. Riding with raptors, and he does nothing with that sequence. That isn't awesome. I'm sorry, Bryce Dallas Howard. Your boyfriend isn't a badass. He's a lame ass because all he does is ride with the raptors and they turn on him. Yeah, it's some badass you got right there. Really is. And for all the shit people give Jurassic Park 3 for the Alan Dream sequence and for the Spinosaurus getting eaten. So Spinosaurus eating the T-Rex. I know, you want to see the Spinosaurus get eaten. I understand that. But the T-Rex getting eaten by the Spinosaurus. But give this shit a pass where the climax, the I-Rex is smacking raptors around like they're a bunch of bitches, bitch smacking them around, flambeing one of them. And then even a scene where little kid fucking tasers a raptor. And that's fine, because at least the T-Rex gets to beat up on the Indominus Rex. But you know what? The T-Rex didn't even beat the Indominus Rex. It needed the help from the Raptor and the Mesosaurus. The Mesosaurus ate the I-Rex, not the T-Rex. The T-Rex didn't win. The T-Rex was just part of a team. Cool. All right. But I'm okay with that because I like that sequence. I wish there was more of that in this film. And less of the talking, and less of the shitty characters, and less of the lame screenwriting, and less of the cliches, and less of the shit I've seen a million times in a million other movies. I understand nothing's 100% original anymore, but at least you can put a new twist on it. This doesn't put a new twist on it. It's just the same military wants dinosaurs for their own personal gain shit, and let's make a bigger giant dinosaur because we can. That's about it. You don't want to see that? I'll watch Deep Blue Sea. At least that's unpredictable. And I think it's a hell of a lot more fun to watch. But, yeah. Did not care for this movie, and I guess I've been rambling around long enough, and I guess if I'm going to rate it out of 5 stars, I give it 1. I'm seriously giving it that low of a rating. You feel free to agree or disagree. I have no problem with that. I think this is the worst film in the franchise. I apologize, Lost World. You're not that bad. I still don't care for you. I still probably give you 2 stars, but you're not as bad as this movie. Because at least you have some better characters. At least you have some good moments. This has at least more than one good moment. The San Diego rampage, and a little bit with the trailer sequence, and a little bit of the Raptors and the complex, minus the gymnastics bullshit. But here, what do I got? What do I have? The ending with the T-Rex and the I-Rex and the Raptor, and that's it? That's it. That's all I really have. And maybe Chris Pratt, and maybe a bit of the score. And maybe Jake Johnson, but he doesn't get that much to do. So yeah, it's not much. Because all the other stuff sucks so much. The screenplay is terrible. The pacing's bad. And yeah, it just doesn't capture the magic or the charm of the first film, even though it keeps calling back to the first movie. Seems like every few minutes or so. But anyway, yeah, those are my thoughts on Jurassic World. That's my rant and review of the film. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it's a bit long in the tooth, but I had some stuff to get off my chest. If you like the movie, that's fine. I have no problem with that. It's just, it all comes down to personal taste in the end, and this just wasn't my cup of tea, personally. And I'm perfectly okay with people who love this movie and enjoy it and find it to be a very enjoyable, fun flick. I have no issue with that. It just wasn't a really enjoyable, fun flick to me. It was personally one big pile of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.